शांति शांति शांति। विश्व का कल्याण हो, सभी कर्तव्य पारायण हो, परस्पर प्रेम भाव हो। नारायण 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 नारायण। सबसे पहले तो आप सबका धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आप सबने इसमें इंटरेस्ट लिया, आपने इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया। सो आई थिंक all these people are from India only. Right. Okay. So सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या हमारे ऋषि मुनि फिलोसोफर थे या साइंटिस्ट थे? सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन, लेट मी आस्क यू। सो आंसर भी मैं ही दूंगा ऑब्वियसली, बट द थिंग इज कि वी हैव टू डिसाइड, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट हमारे ऋषि मुनि जो थे वो क्या फिलोसोफर्स थे या साइंटिस्ट थे? Everyone will agree with me that our ancestry is scientific, and all the Rishi Munis, they were scientists. Every starting from Vedanta, Ved and Vedanta, everything presented to us by Rishi Munis is purely scientific and nothing except science. The question is then how come it became philosophy? See, it is not philosophy. It became philosophy because of the Shrutis we have. We had Shrutis, and it was an oral tradition. एक मौखिक परंपरा थी ये। एक ओरल ट्रेडिशन के तहत हमने इस ज्ञान को प्राप्त किया है। जब उसको लिखा गया तब भी वो इसके पहले ओरल ट्रेडिशन ही थी। सो वी हैव अ oral tradition which is called Shruti, and this science was presented metaphorically. Why it was presented metaphorically? Because it was very difficult for that time, people of that time, to understand this science. See, that which is not visible, how can you make others understand the science behind it? So our cells are not visible to us, our cell nucleus is not visible, cell organelles are not visible, and genetics, genes are not visible to us. So the question was, just let me admit others. Okay, so the question was, how can we present a thing, how can we explain a thing which is not visible to others? So Maharishi Patanjali and other Rishi Munis, they presented this science metaphorically. They presented this as the external understanding of the world. That is why, because of this Shrutis, we had Chinese whispers, and except Maharishi Patanjali being practically present, no one could understand this science, because see, what he intended to explain to us was really, I say, scientific, right? But it was very difficult for him to make us understand all. The second question was, why Maharishi Patanjali presented this in sutras? So the answer is, Maharishi Patanjali explained us in sutras because Maharishi Patanjali always, according to his writing, according to his explanation of sutras, he always wanted to keep the science unaltered, right? So this science remained unaltered for thousands of years now. Because of these sutras, they are consequence of cause and effect. So they are sutras chained as cause and effect, and it should not be altered by time, by interpretations. Maybe there may be wrong interpretation, there may be right interpretation. There are interpretations available. Everyone understands yoga as a science, but cannot explain it scientifically. The reason is Purush Bahutvam Vyavasthat, means we can, what I want to ask you, tell you is that Purush Bahutvam Vyavasthat means Sankhya Darshan says that a cell is differentiated into different types of cells to make it a system, a tissue and a system. So Purush here in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is nothing but our own cells. And this science is presented in this manner. So this is the consequence of cause and effect. So if you read Maharishi Patanjali scientifically, you want to read him scientifically, then you need to understand that each sutra should be taken under consideration to cause and effect. Otherwise, it will be a mess. A mess which we can see in present world. This has become a mess because there is a different type of perception everywhere. You perceive according to your mindset, your understanding, your abilities, your knowledge, your education. So everyone's perception differs. But Maharishi Patanjali never wanted this to be of several perceptions or different perceptions. So that is why he gave us in sutras. So sutras, when interpreted correctly, will represent the science perfectly. And that is why he and Maharishi Kapil gave us darshana. See, this darshan shastras gives us the true scientific interpretation of the fact which is present in the world, right? These are factual sciences. Now, this factual science has Vyasa Bhashya, Maharishi Patanjali's presentation was decoded and interpreted by Maharishi Vyas, and that too is not understood in its true manner. So that is why I decided to initiate with the presentation of scientific aspect of Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. I do not say that other interpretations, philosophical interpretations are wrong, right? They are right to their own perception. But scientifically, if not presented scientifically, they hold no value of that, because a child knows that what type of act is right or what type of act is wrong. Even a 5-year-old child knows what is right and what is wrong, what is hinsa and what is ahimsa. So what was the purpose of Maharishi Patanjali giving this philosophy? This is not philosophy. The purpose of Maharishi Patanjali was to present it scientifically and from inside out. So this science got two bifurcations during the period of time. First, it was from Sindhu Sanskriti, then it got diverted into the Buddhism and the Hatha Yoga tradition, Nath Parampara. So Buddha took it as a meditation and Nath Parampara as Hatha Yoga. So Hatha Yoga was the need of time, right? Because at the time of Maharishi Patanjali, the mind was pure, the ecosystem was pure, there was no external debris, right? debris to the body and mind. So Maharishi Patanjali at his time only gave us inside out aspect. See, if not attended inside out, then the outside in aspect will not be that much fruitful that it should be. अब अगर हमें समझना है कि अगर महर्षि पतंजलि ने ये साइंटिफिकली नहीं दिया होता तो क्या होता, अगर हमने ये फिलोसॉफिकली लिया होता तो हम सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक मटेरियल एस्पेक्ट को देख रहे हैं, बाहर के एस्पेक्ट को देख रहे हैं, पर जो कॉन्शियसनेस है उसको हम अटेंड ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. सी, योग करना, अष्टांग योग करना जो हम हठ योग में करते हैं, उससे हम कॉन्शियसनेस को कहीं टच ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. While we are practicing yoga, we are doing yoga to empower consciousness, to increase consciousness, and to be one with the cosmic consciousness. But the thing is, we are not doing that way. We are attending the material aspect. We are attending the body. We are attending the tissues and the organs. We are not attending the consciousness level of the existence. We have to understand this. We have to understand this scientifically. So I have prepared a slides, PPT. So I will share it with you. So, Namaskar and welcome to IAYT's Yoga Therapy Foundation course. This course is a special course because see, yoga therapy till now was not that much clear because it was not scientifically presented. When it is presented scientifically, it becomes a prime system of medicine, a cure. And this time, me and Dr. Ananda Balyogi Bhavanani, he's a very good, he's awesome yogi who knows it scientifically, who knows it philosophically also and scientifically. I must say that we are very fortunate to have Dr. Ananda Balyogi Bhavanani with us. Because of his busy schedules, he has promised me whenever he will find time, he will appear and he will put light on scientific aspect of yoga. Right? Till then, we shall continue with our talk. Just a minute. Let us begin from starting. Okay, so this course is based on pure sci-tech wisdom of Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras as the complete manual of autogene therapy. Why sci-tech? Because yoga is a technology. Yoga is a technology. It is applied science within the life. It is the evolutionary epigenetic science, right? Based on epigenetic regulation of life. So it is a sci-tech system and a complete manual of autogene therapy because it gives you cure from all the impurities and diseases caused by kleshas, the avidya and the kleshas. So it will give you freedom from the genetically manifesting epigenetic disorders. So it is the genes manifest epigenetically. So genes doesn't carry any disease, but the upregulation of that genetic machinery or downregulation of genetic machinery has an impact on the genetic expressions. So it is all about epigenetic regulation of life. All we need to clean up our memory. See, because we have acquired over the period of time, we have acquired a lot many garbage in the form of philosophical presentations. Someone says that tad japah tadarth bhavanam. Someone says that tad japah tadarth abhavanam. So what is right and what is wrong? We have to understand this. What is right and what is wrong? Okay. And because we have this garbage memory, garbage in the memory, we need to clean up before we learn. We should start with the scientific presentation of महर्षि पतंजलि. हमें पूरे दिमाग को हमारा साफ कर देना पड़ेगा. जब तक हमारा मन शांत और साफ नहीं होगा, क्लीन नहीं होगा, तब तक हम इसको साइंटिफिकली नहीं समझ पाएंगे. Right? The other is yoga is metaphorically present, as I told you earlier. So yoga is presented metaphorically, and it is only with the purpose of easy understanding of others, those who don't know this science. Right? Yoga is transformational science for transcendence to divinity. Yes. If we cannot change our life, our situations, our ecosystem, our internal and external ecosystem, we cannot empower ourselves. Einstein said that any wrong which is caused by a level of consciousness, a state of consciousness, cannot be corrected by the same state. So we need to evolve to higher consciousness to cure all our problems. दुख, त्रिविध दुख जो हमें दिखाए गए हैं, उनसे निकलने के लिए हमें उसको इस तरह से ही समझना पड़ेगा. जीनोम, जो लोग साइंस को जानते हैं वो जीनोम को भी जानते हैं. जो बायोलॉजिकल साइंस, लाइफ साइंस को जानते हैं, वो जीनोम को जानते हैं. जीनोम हैज ऑल द कैपेसिटी टू मैनिफेस्ट life. We all are result of genetic expressions. These genetic expressions take the root of epigenetics. So it is called Adhyatmavad, Adi Atmavad. Adi means above, Atma means the gene. So an epigene is what an epigene is, that is having a mark over the gene, which either switches the gene off or switches the gene on for a particular expression. And our emotions, our life is nothing but all about genetic expressions through epigenetics. Gene doesn't change. If gene changes, then there will be no chance for us to revive, to get back to the original state, reset to reform. Right? So genome doesn't change. The change is made temporarily through epigenes, and this epigenetic marks over the gene that causes different type of perceptions, and different perceptions results into different lifestyles and understanding of the life. If these marks give you disease, then you are suffering a disease. If this mark doesn't give you disease, you are not suffering with the disease. So it is very simple to understand. Maharishi Patanjali has given 196 sutras. Why? Because see, it is a science which is very easy to understand once you know the core of this science. Right? Now the question is, what is the complete manual of autogene therapy? Yes, Maharishi Patanjali gives us all the 4 aspects of autogene therapy. First is Kaivalya, second is Samadhi, third is Sadhan, fourth is Vibhuti. Why Kaivalya is the first one? Because it is a technical manual showing that how yoga operates, right? It is a technical manual, how yoga operates. Okay. And then we come to Samadhi Path. Samadhi Path gives us the theory of technical aspects of application of yoga, right? So it is theory of what we are going to apply, about know how yoga works. It is given in that. ये जो हम साइंस की बात कर रहे हैं उसको इस तरह से ही लिया जा सकता है. There are 5 questions that should be asked. Those should be asked for a scientific query or research. That is what, why, how, when, and how. So all these five questions are answered into Maharishi Patanjali's presentation. And what, how, why is the core aspect of this presentation of cause and effect. Because something there should be something which has caused the other thing. Otherwise, nothing comes out of nothing. See, science says nothing comes out of nothing. There must be something from which the new thing is coming out. So we need to understand this, and this course will make you understand in detail. This is the book I have presented in August, 15th August, our Independence Day, because see, lacking this scientific aspect, we cannot implement yoga as a syllabus, a medicine, system of medicine, right? Because of many yoga gurus have their own interpretation of philosophical interpretations on yoga darshan, and that is why it was very difficult to present it as a syllabus, as a system of medicine, or as a system, right? So this will be easy now for everyone to present it scientifically, and it will be accepted worldwide. Now, reset to reprogram your life is the main aspect. At acquiring samadhi, the balance, the equilibrium, which we say in philosophical manner. But the thing is, okay, when we speak scientifically, it is the genetic symmetry which expresses in a way that our life doesn't get into the problems, diseases, and disorders, or any sufferings or pain. Now we have to reprogram it also, because see, resetting it to the original means you are not expressing anything, but you have to reprogram it by tuning, by acquiring the genetic parity with the ecosystem, external and internal ecosystem. So we have to pair ourselves with the ecosystem. Yoga Darshan is applied technological wisdom of Sankhya Darshan. See, when we talk about Yoga Darshan, we have to consider the Sankhya Darshan, Sankhya Yoga Darshan, because without it, the Yoga Darshan cannot be understood, cannot be implied, or cannot be recognized to be a science. Everyone knows that, everyone will agree with me that Sankhya Darshan is a scientific presentation of Kapil Muni. So Kapil Muni gave us the evolutionary science of genetics, and Maharishi Patanjali gave us the science of epigenetic regulation of life. Now, that is why these two darshans makes a complementing duo. These two darshan shastras, they are complementing each other. One is theory and one is practical, right? So it is a, we can say it is a genetic life science which was described 3000 years ago, right? While Sankhya Darshan describes the existential and evolutionary genetics, Yoga Darshan extends its wisdom as transformational epigenetics for transcendence to divinity. Yes, someone wants to say something? Oh, Ananda ji. Oh, welcome Ananda ji. Ananda ji is here. Let us welcome him. Namaskar Ananda ji. So very happy to see you here.
Namaste, Namaste
Namaste,
ji.
namaste. I was praising your understanding of yoga. So sorry
Thank
for
you.
that. In your absence, I had your praise.
That is the better one. The better
I
one is
know.
praised when we are not present. I was
Yes, yes.
listening to you because I just got home from a travel to Chennai, an urgent travel. So immediately, as soon as I came home, I came into the link and I am listening to you. Please continue, and I will give a few comments maybe a little later. I want you to take this forward. It's a beautiful, fascinating perspective. So please continue sharing, and I will share a few words little later. Thank you so much. I'm with you
Yes,
here.
yes. Sir, it is so nice of you that you joined us. And the thing is, see, we need someone who can understand this science. We need someone, see, though I have presented it, but I have to make others understand this science. So you are the one who understood it because you are a medical professional and you are a very loved yogi. Means you love yoga, right? So medical science and yoga, both of them are together in you. So you are the only one I heard I heard about the scientific aspect of yoga in your lectures and all your presentations. They are wonderful, wonderful. I'm a top fan of yours. We will not find decade means in decades we will find such a yogi like you. It is centuries. I tell you, centuries, not decades. Thank you.
Your words are
So
such a
let
blessing. So please
yes.
continue. I am with you always because
Thank you. Thank you.
wherever yoga is loved, I am there.
Grateful to you. So let us continue with our talk. In other words, Sankhya Yoga Darshan is creational anatomy, physiology, and pathophysiology of life. See, Sankhya Darshan shows us the anatomy and physiology and the way of life with its pathophysiology. See, it starts with the Trividya Dukham, right? So the question was why we suffer from the Trividya Dukha. And the research started from there. This question that why we suffer, why even a Vivekin, Vidosho Api. So a Vivekin also is a sufferer because of the reasons given in the Sankhya Darshan. We suffer our life, right? The pathophysiology of life, where Yoga Darshan is the applied wisdom as cited therapeutic wisdom by Maharishi Patanjali. We first should know that evolutionary process of life is gifted to us with 8 types of innate processes called Ashtanga Yoga. See, Ashtanga Yoga, that is innate process that automatically happens within our life, our body, in the cell, right? But we somehow lose the grip over Ashtanga Yoga, which is running inside, which is happening inside automatically, and we have to reapply it or say anushthan it. So anushthan means to implement it from outside. That gives us genetic symmetry, enabling our genome to reprogram our life towards liberation from the all bondages of life. So Ashtanga Yoga gives us up to samadhi. See, Ashtanga Yoga can lead us to samadhi, but the real transformation, the real transcendence will be achieved through Drada Bhumi. See, when we will make it Drada Bhumi into our epigenetics. See, the science of epigenetics is a bidirectional. You need to understand it bidirectionally. So whatever the ecosystem gives us, we receive it as an epigene, and we reprogram our life through these epigenes. So accordingly, we manage to survive in the in any atmosphere. हम कहीं भी जाएं, कहीं भी जाते हैं, तो हम उस एटमॉस्फेयर में क्यों मिक्स हो जाते हैं, क्यों सर्वाइव कर जाते हैं? बिकॉज ऑफ दिस एपिजेनेटिक रेगुलेशन ऑफ लाइफ. If I will say that Shivji is the cosmic consciousness, Brahma is the creative consciousness, and Vishnu is the regulatory consciousness. So we need to understand this metaphor, which is presented by our ancestors, right? So the highest level of consciousness is cosmic consciousness. The regulatory consciousness we need to survive and evolve, and creational consciousness to give birth to our own ancestry, right? Now we first should know that evolutionary process of life is gifted to us with a larger perspective, right? To be with the cosmic consciousness, to end all our sufferings. See, when we are one with the cosmic consciousness, or we acquire the form of cosmic consciousness, we be one with the cosmic consciousness, and that is Kaivalyam, right? This Kaivalyam sthiti is the sthiti of the person, the state of the person which is equivalent to the cosmic consciousness, right? So the Kaivalya Prapti, when we say Yoga Darshan, true perception of Yoga Darshan can be made two ways. It is either way, true scientific technological aspect of that, or psychophysiological aspect of a philosophical aspect of the same. Psychophilosophical aspect, I have I have put it aside because that is explored by many yogis, and we are well acquainted of this type of presentations, but not scientific. Now the true scientific presentation, technical presentation of PYS, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, can be seen binary ways, can be seen in technological principles of yogic regulation and evolution of life, or application of yoga technology to liberate, potentiate, and transcend our life. So there are two aspects given. In first theoretical aspect, we have been given Kaivalya path and Samadhi path. When it comes to practical aspect, we have given the sadhan path, and the experiential level, it is the Vibhuti path. See, expressional and executional level, right? Now this is one of the good slide. I have said that the cosmic consciousness is Mahesh, Shiva. Brahma is the creative consciousness. That consciousness is the part of the cosmic consciousness. See, these two consciousness, the Brahma creative consciousness and regulatory consciousness of Vishnu, are the faculties of cosmic consciousness. So we have three deities sitting within us as genome. We have regulatory genes, we have creative genes, and we have Sevayar genes. Those genes that saves us and transcends us. So we have three modes of genetic regulation of life. Now, this Prakriti being tamas and consciousness being sattva, we are given birth as Jivatma, which is Rajas, which can be represented as a game, right? Yes. Just a minute. Just okay. Now the Jivatma whether undergoes yogic upregulation of the epigene, or antraya that gives the down regulation of the genes, right? So when you are one with the cosmic consciousness, you automatically are in yogic upregulation of life, and you are not suffering any hurdles, any antrayas, any vikshepas, right? Otherwise, if you are into down regulation through antrayas, you know that what are antrayas, right? That 9 antrayas and 4 vikshepas they cause us down regulate our epigenetic system and the genetic regulation. Thus, lower level of self consciousness gives us tamas pravrutti. So pravrutti, what we see is a game, is a one side of the game, right? Either you can play tamasic or sattvic, but here we are playing together. We are playing as a rajas. So there is tamas also and sattva also, but we need a regulation between those. If it is not regulated properly, then we cannot live a happy, healthy life. So this causes Viveka Khyati to upregulate our genetic system and gives us purity, wellness that enables us to observe yam and niyam. Yam and niyam are to be observed from inside out, right? Not only outside in. Outside in is another aspect of it, but the inside out is the most dominant aspect. Vishesha api vishesha. So liberation from pain and suffering is the result of observing yam and niyam. See, the whole yoga is observance of yam and niyam. Yam is the Sarvabhaum Mahavratam, means these 5 principles of life should be observed, and niyamas are the practices through which we can have yama in our life. So niyama, yam ki taraf le jane wala, that which takes us to the yama. Niyama means that which takes us to the yama. See, satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, aparigraha, asteya. This are the practices which are natural within us, but because of antrayas, because of avidya, the antrayas come, vikshepas come, and we fail to observe these 5 principles which are universal in nature, right? And that is why we fall ill and we have heya. Heya is the antraya caused as a mark on epigene, which silences the epigene which is beneficial for us. While this happens, the hana follows. Hana means the disease, disorder. So the hana follows, right? And we are suffering with the bondages of pain and sufferings. Vikshepas and see, this slide, I will make you available this slide later on so that you can understand this. This is the natural upregulation versus yogic upregulation of life, evolutionary regulation. So this slide it requires a lot of time, so I would omit this slide to be expressed. This is what you need to understand, that from a zygote we are made from a single cell called zygote, right? And a zygote is a multipotent cell, totipotent cell. So that can take form of many different type of cells, like a skin cell, liver cell, brain cells. So different type of cells are created from this totipotent cell. This primordial germ cell is called pradhan. In Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, it is called pradhan. So upregulation of this is required because a primordial germ cell through down regulation becomes totipotent stem cell, then blastocyte, then pluripotent stem cell, then multipotent stem cell, and then unipotent cell. Unipotent means a liver cell which only can perform a function of liver, task of liver, right? It cannot do the function of brain cells. It cannot do the function of bone cells. But a totipotent cell can manifest into any type of cell, and that is called a totipotent stem cell. And we are provided with multiple stem cells within our body that can be applied or that can be employed to reconstruct our tissue, cell, organ, and reprogram our cellular functions. Now what is given here is a evolutionary process, metamorphosis of a coqueto into a butterfly, how Yoga Sutras are related with that. This slide also will be given to you in next session. So Kevalappada is the theory of natural evolutionary epigenetic program execution of life. Then technology, it is called technology of life, to be interpreted as a consequence of Karana and Karya. Without it, without understanding Maharishi Patanjali with Karya and Karan, you cannot understand Maharishi Patanjali even a pinch also. Without Karya Karan, you cannot understand anything. Your talking should go years and years, but for 15 minutes, we expect you to say something about the scientific aspect of Patanjali Yoga Sutra that you know better than me. Please, can I highlight your video?
Yeah, no issues. Yes. Yes, that is fine.
Sure.
Namaskaram, Swagatam, and a very beautiful opportunity to be with you and listen to my dear Acharya ji. I have enjoyed his expression of the scientific aspect of the Yoga Sutras in a way that I have not heard anybody else express them. Because normally you find a philosophical expression, you find a psychological expression, you find a spiritual expression, but going right down into our genetic structure and the most recent innovation in genetics where we understand epigenetics. So we have genetics and epigenetics. Epigenetic is the expression of the genes as opposed to the genetics which people used to say, oh, once you have it in your genes, you cannot change it. That used to be the old teachings. They used to say, oh, if it is in your genes, you cannot change it. You have diabetes in your genes, you cannot change it. You have cardiovascular problem in your genes, you cannot change it. That is the old information. I won't even call it knowledge, it was information. Now we realize you can change. You can go right down and change. We have the modern technology of genetic engineering. You have gene knockout, where you can knock out genes and see what is happening. You can have all these type of aspects. But the aspect that really appeals to me is epigenetics. Because you have certain genes and the way they express can be consciously modified. And this is why I would like to quote one of my professors in medical college, who said our genes, our genetics is like a loaded gun. Our genetics is like a loaded gun. Whether the gun goes off or not depends on whether you pull the trigger or not. It is a very beautiful way to understand that we cannot blame our genetics, but we need to work with our genetics in a conscious manner. That is what yoga is all about. Finding what we have and using it as it is meant to be used. Right useness. Using all our information, all our knowledge, all our ability, everything we have been given, be it the Annamaya, the Pranamaya, the Manomaya, the Vijnanamaya or the Anandamaya, let us use it as it is meant to be used. And this is why when Acharya ji got out this book, I was very happy that here is a way of looking at the Yoga Sutras, putting it in the context of understanding what our genes are, how they express, and how we can start to modify them. Because many people, it's like karma. People say, oh, it is my karma, my bad luck. No. Karma is nothing but what you have done and what comes back as the result of what you have done. Karma, kar हिंदी में क्या है? कर मतलब है to do. Ma का मतलब क्या है? Me. My doing, and because of my doing, what comes back? My undoing. And this is why we start to realize we can modify karma by focusing on our dharma. By focusing on dharma, we modify the karma, and this is what is brought out in this teaching. And the fact that not only now have the material, but also you have Acharya Ji to guide you through this material. Because I must admit, it can be very thick. It can be very tough to understand because you need to understand yoga, you have to understand science, you have to understand genetics, and you have to have the capacity to understand the bigger picture. Maharishi Patanjali tells us, sadhaka should have Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna. See, you have to have, I like to say Samadhi and Prajna, they have people split it. I say, for Samadhi, you have to have Prajna. You have to know when you have Samadhi. Many people have Samadhi, they don't know they have Samadhi. So to understand these teachings, you have to have a certain level of capacity. So initially you say, oh my God, this is very tough. Oh my God, I don't understand this. Don't worry about it. Let it come in. Let it go into your consciousness. Just practice Shravana. Shravana, which is active listening. Practice active listening of these teachings. Don't worry if you don't understand. Don't worry if it is complex. Don't worry if it is new. Don't worry even if it doesn't make sense to you now. Okay, because many things didn't make sense when I was studying MBBS. Now they make sense to me. It may take decades, but we need to listen attentively. Active listening. So please, my suggestion to all the members of this team, please listen actively. Please listen attentively so that the Shravana process will occur. Then start to contemplate it. Let the Manana process go on. And then someday the Nididhyasana will occur. Because we immediately want to understand everything that is said. We cannot. What my professors told me 25 years ago, now today I understand. What some of my teachers told me when I was a small kid, today I understand. It will take time because this is slow digestion. This is not fast food, which causes indigestion. This is slow digestion by healthy, slow food, which you have to chew properly. You have to digest properly. You have to assimilate properly. So my congratulations to Acharya Ji for taking this forward, not just as the book, but as a pathway to understand a practical application in a scientific manner, right down at the genomic level. And I wish that everybody will utilize this opportunity. Pay attention, listen attentively, imbibe the essence, and then take it forward. So wishing all the participants a wonderful time. Whenever possible, I'll be coming in and giving some inputs now and there. But I just want to remind you, Maharishi Patanjali did not live in the past. Maharishi Patanjali is from the future. Maharishi Patanjali is from the future. He is a time traveler who has gone into the past, the present, and the future. And that is why the teachings of the Yoga Darshana are timeless. They are Nirankala, a very, very important one. There are also other aspects that can come through this. Because when we start to pay attention to our biological essence, now we have a spiritual essence, but we are talking about the biological essence, and it is connected to the spiritual essence. The microcosm and macrocosm are one and the same. Whether it be the pinda or the anda, it is all one and the same ultimately. And so there will be different aspects. I say a question here that says, what about the plexus of autonomic nervous system? These will also be influenced. But every function in the body, be it the cardiovascular system, be it the nervous system, be it the endocrine system, be it the digestive system, the respiratory system, all of these systems, they are governed by what is happening in epigenetic expression. So your epigenetic expression will alter the system function. And when you focus on the systematic function, it will go and influence the epigenetic function. Because it is a two-way street. The mind can affect the body and the body can affect the mind. And when we realize this intimate connection between mind and body, we realize that Maharishi Patanjali, the timeless traveler, the time traveler par excellence, He has given teachings that are eternal. They are Nitya. Nitya Jnana is what Maharishi Patanjali has given us. They are in tune with the cosmic essence, Hritagum Satyam. And that is why these are sacred teachings that we need to approach with reverence, gratitude, and deep love. So wishing you all the best for this wonderful event and this course. Thank you for giving me a chance to say a few words tonight.
Thank you, Anandaji. Let us conclude it in a way that it should be concluded that we pray our ancestors, our Rishimunis, and our gurus for what they have given us, the liberate, and further I expect that we live a yogic life through this knowledge, this implementation of this practical knowledge in our life. So thank you very much, and we'll do pray our Gurudev and ancestors and Rishi Munis. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shanti Shanti शांति। विश्व का कल्याण हो, सभी कर्तव्य पारायण हो, परस्पर प्रेम भाव हो। नारायण नारायण नारायण। Thank you for attending. See you soon in the course. Join the course and please ask questions if you have any through my email ID or my phone number. Thank you.